Good morning. It is the Monday morning of week 8, and we have come to the end of our course. And first thing I do want to mention that it has been, as usual, a very interesting journey, if you will, through the world of sport economics. We got off to a little bit of a disjointed start, and weathered that storm. I think we picked up and got going quite rather well, and I really want to thank you for your perseverance and your efforts as we went along. Especially as we were doing some experiments. We really were testing some new material, and things that will be appearing in the newer versions of the course because we had this opportunity for this small group tutorial to do things a little differently. I appreciate your patience, your efforts, and some of the trial and error we actually went through. So I think that was really helpful to me. It will be really helpful to future versions of the course. And once again, thank you very much. Week 7 was actually no different. We had another, whether you realized it or not, there was another little technical difficulty. We put in a bunch of new material about global issues in sport, and yet for some reason, the old discussion board about Title IX popped up, and people jumped in and talked about Title IX, which I appreciate because, and actually didn't try to make a midweek correction or anything like that because Title IX is and remains important. And as we were coming off a rather spirited discussion of some major issues in college sports, I think it was just important to leave it and let our discussion go, and let our discussion develop. And again, thank you. And also, I knew that the global issues, I hope, would be picked up in the final assignment. Now, quick administrative matter. That final assignment is due as soon as you can get it to me. I have 1 out of 4 so far. And it is Monday morning, just a little after 8 o'clock. And because of our new systems, grades have to be in much earlier than they were. So I really can't wait till the end of the week. Please, Sunday night is not available to you. I must have these by midweek, and so that I can do proper grading and make sure you get the correct final grade, and the systems that we have are operating correctly, and that we're operating within those parameters. So please do that. So week 7, the material was about global issues, and I think you can see that in many respects, sport is sometimes something we look at with a more of a what I'll call a local mind, or a regional mind, or a national mind. We look at our sports. We look at we spend a lot of time, even in the course, talking about American sport. Yet realize sport's a worldwide phenomenon, has been forever, and there are some lessons we can learn from not only international ongoing sport like leagues, and particularly the sport of what we call soccer, football, and then major events like the World Cup, like the Olympic Games, how those have impacted communities, regions, countries, how they have been used for not only athletic purposes but sometimes political purposes, and frequently for economic development purposes. Those were important concepts, and I hope that we are incorporating those as you went through and looked at your assignment as the consultant's report. The new material for week 8, which will involve one quick discussion, and that discussion, please try to wrap it up by Friday, involves some much more recent phenomena, and that is the technological developments that have changed the way sports are, to use a word, delivered, and also the changing of what used to be a very large underground economy in sport. That was the world of betting, gambling, wagering, into what is now very public and very often regulated and state operated. It's an industry. And there are some very new phenomena out there. There are many new things that have gone on that just were not there available when I started my days as a sports fan, and I've seen tremendous change. But I even look at myself, how I consume sports. I really don't sit down and watch big screen TV anymore. I flop on my sofa and pull out my tablet and go out and find just a large variety of events that I couldn't have ever found before. I'm not limited to what 2 or 3 networks are showing me. I can find all variety of sport. I can find it on demand. I can find it any time of the day or night. I can find international sport. I can find niche sports. For instance, I like to watch rugby. I love rugby. I love watching rugby sevens. Fun game to watch. Couldn't do that before. I can get, as a college tennis coach, I'm very interested in watching college tennis. Well, college tennis is literally televised a lot. It's a very small marketplace, but to a very interested market, I'm really glad that I can get it. So that's really reflective of how things have changed. And one of the things that definitely has changed is the whole world of sports betting and sports gambling and sports wagering. Long been legal in other countries, was long illegal in many areas of the U.S. Now it is more than legal in more states, and more states are picking up on it as a source of revenue. And when a government agency sees revenue, they're just like any other operating entity. They pursue what they perceive as a share of that revenue. So it's changed the economic climate. And also, another phenomenon, and I've been using that word a lot in this video, is the idea of fantasy sports. Now, I'm 65 years old. I did not grow up with that. I've never played fantasy sports. I doubt if I ever will. I really, to be honest with you, sure, I understand how it works and what it's all about, but to me, I just don't get it. It doesn't work for me. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with it. Hopefully that doesn't say there's anything wrong with me. But the idea is, here is a different way of watching and consuming sports, and it has had a profound impact on how people approach their consumption of the game. And one of the biggest factors in economic analysis is we look at consumption. How does the consumer get what he wants, use it, what do they do with it, and what impact does it have on the whole industry that we're looking at? So this week, we just want to take a quick look at some of those things that have gone on. And I'm very interested in what your comments are about them. I think they've changed a lot of things, as I just said. They've changed a lot of things the way we do things. They've changed the economic picture of how sports is produced and consumed. And that's my big point this week. So it's been fun. I hope you have gotten some benefit out of this course. I think we have tried to cover a lot in a very short time. I think many of the topics that we bring up, we could actually do a whole module on each one of them and fill it to the brim. And there's quite a bit of stuff that is just maybe we've introduced it, and that you will use your powers of curiosity to go out and find out more. There are so many things out there. For instance, last week, in the middle to the end of our discussion, I was able to produce and post a lot of material about, say for instance, college athletes and the rules governing college athletes, and how they do they get compensated, can they get compensated. And one of the things I was hoping to do is maybe have you dispel a few commonly held perceptions. How do you do that? You dig deeper, and that's the whole essence of academics. Develop some curiosity. Don't take things for its face value. Just go out there, get that curiosity going, learn more, and apply more. Okay? Hope that's what we've got out of it. And if you've got any questions this week, please contact me. Again, thank you very much. I know this was a little bit disjointed, and I think we tried to do the best we could with what we had, and I think the result has been very good. Thank you again.